The words came out of his mouth like he was reading from a shopping list. Casual, almost bored. Dad, about Christmas this year. We're doing it differently. Just immediate family. I stood there in his driveway, keys still in my hand, the engine of my truck ticking as it cooled. November wind cut through the suburban street, carrying the smell of someone's wood-burning fireplace. Nice neighborhood, the kind where people put those wooden signs in their yards that say, "Blessed," or "Gather." My son's house had one that said, "Home Sweet Home," in that fake rustic font that costs extra. Immediate family, I repeated. Not a question, just letting the words sit there between us. Yeah, you know, me, Vanessa, the kids. Her parents are coming too, obviously. They're flying in from Phoenix. Her parents. Obviously. I looked past him at the house I'd helped him buy. Well, not helped. I'd co-signed the loan when his credit was shit from maxing out cards in college. I'd spent 3 weekends painting the exterior because hiring someone would have cost $4,000 they didn't have. I'd replaced the water heater last spring when it died at midnight and flooded their basement. So her parents are immediate family, I said, but I'm not. Tyler shifted his weight. He was wearing those expensive athletic clothes that people wear when they have no intention of exercising, the kind Vanessa had probably ordered online. Everything in their house came from online, delivered in boxes that piled up on the porch until someone felt like breaking them down. It's just, Vanessa thinks it would be better, less complicated. Less complicated? Don't do that thing where you repeat what I say, it's annoying. I'd driven 40 minutes to drop off the custom-made toy chest I'd built for their youngest. It was in the truck bed, wrapped in a moving blanket. Oak, dovetail joints. The kid's name carved into the lid. Took me 3 weeks in the garage. Diane had picked out the design from some catalog, then I'd modified it to make it better. Stronger. Does your mother know about this? I asked. Not yet. I was going to call her. You were going to call her? Dad, come on. He looked over his shoulder. Through the window, I could see Vanessa standing in the kitchen. She wasn't even pretending not to watch. Just standing there with her arms crossed, wearing that expression she always wore when I was around. Like she smelled something rotten. This is Vanessa's idea, I said. It's both of our decision. Sure it is. Tyler's jaw tightened. He had his mother's eyes, but my build. Broad shoulders, strong hands. Right now, those hands were shoved in his pockets, and he wouldn't look at me straight on. Look, it's one Christmas. We'll figure something out for New Year's, maybe. Or we can do our own thing in January. In January. You're doing it again. A car drove past. The neighbor 2 doors down getting home from work. He waved. I waved back. Tyler didn't wave at all. Is this about the money? I asked. Something flickered across his face. What money? The loan I didn't give you last month. Jesus, Dad, no. This isn't about, we don't need your money. I didn't say you needed it. I asked if this is about it. It's not about anything except us wanting to have a quiet holiday with immediate family. There it was again. Immediate family. Like he'd practiced saying it. Like Vanessa had coached him on exactly which words to use. I looked at the house again, at the windows I'd helped install, at the garage door I'd fixed when it went off track, at the flower beds I'd dug out and filled with good soil because the builder had just dumped clay and called it landscaping. Okay, I said. Tyler blinked. Okay? Yeah. You have a nice Christmas with Vanessa's parents. Tell the kids I said hi. I walked back to my truck. The toy chest was still sitting there. I didn't mention it. Didn't turn around, just climbed in, started the engine, and backed out of the driveway. In my rearview mirror, Tyler stood there watching me go. His hands were still in his pockets. He didn't wave. I drove home the long way, took the highway instead of surface streets. Gave me time to think. Or not think. Mostly, I just watched the mile markers blur past and listened to the sound of my tires on asphalt. Diane was in the kitchen when I got home. She was making her famous lasagna, which meant she was stressed about something. She always cooked when she was stressed. Last year, when her sister was sick, we ate 3 weeks of elaborate casseroles. "How'd he like the chest?" she asked, without turning around. I set my keys on the counter, hung my jacket on the hook by the door, stood there for a second, trying to figure out how to say it. Didn't give it to him. She stopped stirring the sauce, turned around slowly. She had that look she gets when she's already figured out something's wrong, but she's waiting for me to confirm it. "What happened?" "We're not invited to Christmas." The spoon in her hand dripped red sauce onto the tile. She didn't notice. "What?" "Tyler said they're doing immediate family this year. Vanessa's parents are flying in." "Vanessa's—" She put the spoon down, wiped her hands on a towel. "He said it was both their decision." "Of course he did, because she was standing right there watching, wasn't she?" I didn't answer. Didn't need to. Diane walked to the kitchen window and stared out at the backyard. We'd lived in this house for 32 years, raised both kids here. The swing set was long gone, but the oak tree we'd planted when Tyler was born was 40 feet tall now. In the garage sat a toy chest that would probably never get delivered. "Call him back," she said. "Tell him that's not acceptable." "I'm not calling him." "Dan, I said what I said. He made his choice." She turned to look at me. "So what? We just let them cut us out of Christmas? Let her win?" "I didn't say that." "Then what are you saying?" I picked up my keys, walked past her toward the garage. "I'm saying I'm going for a drive." "You just got home." "I know." She followed me to the door. "Where are you going?" "Out." "Dan, come on. We need to talk about this." "Later." I got in the truck and backed out before she could argue. This time I didn't take the highway. I just drove. No destination, no plan. Just turning left or right whenever I felt like it. The sun was setting, sky going purple and orange. Pretty in that way that makes you feel worse instead of better. My phone rang. I ignored it. Rang again. Still ignored. By the time I parked at some rest stop 20 miles outside town, I had 6 missed calls, all from Diane. I turned the phone off and sat there in the dark, listening to long-haul trucks idle in the parking lot. A family walked past my window. Mom, Dad, 2 kids. The little one was crying about something. The dad was carrying her, bouncing her a little, saying something I couldn't hear. The mom was holding the other kid's hand. They looked tired. They looked annoyed. They looked like they'd rather be anywhere else. They looked like immediate family. I started the engine and drove home. Diane was waiting in the living room. The TV was on, but she wasn't watching it. She'd changed into her pajamas. That meant she'd given up on doing anything else tonight. When Diane put on pajamas before 8 p.m., the day was officially over. "I made you a plate," she said. "It's in the fridge." "Not hungry." "You need to eat." I said I'm not hungry. She muted the TV. "Sit down." I sat. "What do you want to do?" she asked. "About what?" "Don't play dumb. About Tyler. About Christmas. About all of this." I looked at her. Really looked at her. She had lines around her eyes now. Gray in her hair that she kept saying she was going to die but never did. She'd been my wife for 34 years. I'd known her since we were both 19. I could read her face like people read newspapers. Right now it said she was ready to burn Tyler's house down. I want," I said slowly, "to let him have exactly what he asked for." "Which is?" "Christmas without us." She frowned. "That's not revenge. That's just giving up." "I didn't say I was giving up." "Then what?" "I said I'm giving him what he asked for." She stared at me. Then something changed in her expression. A little smile started at the corner of her mouth. The kind of smile that meant she'd figured out what I was thinking. "Oh," she said. "Oh, you bastard." Language. "You're going to make them regret it." "I'm going to give them exactly what they wanted." The smile got bigger. "When?" I'm still working that out. She leaned back against the couch, unmuted the TV. Some show about people buying houses they couldn't afford. She watched it for a minute, then said, without looking at me, Emily called earlier, asked if we were doing Thanksgiving at her place or ours this year. Emily, our daughter, 3 years younger than Tyler, lived 2 hours north with her husband and their daughter. What did you tell her? I asked. That I'd ask you and call her back. Tell her we'll come to her place. Really? Yeah. She nodded, kept watching the TV. After a minute, she said, Did Tyler ever mention that Vanessa's been planning something? Some kind of investment? I looked at her. No. What kind of investment? I don't know. Emily mentioned it last week. Said Tyler told her that Vanessa's father had some business opportunity. Some kind of timeshare thing in Arizona. Timeshare. That's what Emily said. I filed that away, turned it over in my mind. Vanessa's father was a retired insurance salesman who'd made good money and thought that meant he was smart. The kind of guy who always had some scheme, some angle, some way to get rich that just required other people's money first. When did Tyler tell Emily this? I asked. Last month sometime. Last month. Right around when Tyler had asked me for a loan. $25,000. Said it was for some repairs on the house. I'd told him I didn't have that kind of cash sitting around. Which was true, sort of. I had it. Just didn't want to give it to him without knowing what it was really for. Now I was starting to get a picture. Did Emily say anything else? Just that Tyler seemed excited about it. Said it was a sure thing. Sure thing. Right. The same words every sucker uses right before they get taken. I stood up. I'm going to bed. It's 7:30. I know. She looked at me. Are you okay? Fine. Dan, I'm fine. Just tired. I went upstairs and lay down in the dark. Didn't turn on any lights, just stared at the ceiling and thought about Tyler standing in his driveway telling me I wasn't immediate family. My phone was on the nightstand, still off. I turned it on. The missed calls had climbed to 8. All from Diane from earlier, nothing from Tyler. I turned it back off and closed my eyes. Before we continue, hit the hype button, subscribe, and like the video to help the channel grow. Tell us which city you are from in the comments. We'd love to get to know our audience better. The next morning, I woke up at 5 like always. Diane was still asleep. I got dressed quiet and went downstairs. The toy chest was still in my truck. I stood in the garage looking at it for a while. All that work, all those hours, the carved name on the lid. I'd even lined the inside with cedar to make it smell good. I loaded it into the back corner of the garage, covered it with a tarp. Then I got in my truck and drove to work. I'd been running my own electrical contracting business for 20 years. Small operation. Just me and 2 guys I'd hired straight out of trade school. We did residential work mostly. New construction, renovations, the occasional service call. Made decent money. Not rich, but comfortable. My shop was in an industrial park on the edge of town. One of those metal buildings that all looked the same. Mine had Holloway Electric painted on the front in letters that were starting to fade. I kept meaning to repaint them. Marcus was already there when I pulled in. He was my lead guy. Mid-30s, married, 2 kids, good worker. Never complained. The kind of employee you wish you could clone. Morning, boss, he said. He was loading tools into his truck. We still doing the Riverside job today? Yeah, I'll meet you there around 9. I got something to take care of first. Everything okay? Fine. He gave me a look, but didn't push it. That was another thing I liked about Marcus. He knew when to mind his own business. I went into the office and sat down at my desk. Paperwork everywhere. Invoices, permits, supply orders. I'd been meaning to hire someone to handle all this, but never got around to it. Diane helped sometimes, but she had her own job at the hospital, worked in medical records, said it kept her sane, having something that was hers. I turned on my computer, waited for it to boot up. The thing was 7 years old and slow as hell. While it loaded, I pulled out my phone. Still nothing from Tyler. But I had a text from Emily. Dad, call me when you get a chance. Need to talk about Thanksgiving. I called her. She answered on the second ring. Hey, Dad. Morning, sweetheart. Your mom said you called about Thanksgiving. Yeah, I wanted to make sure you guys were still coming. I'm planning the menu. We'll be there. Great. Should I invite Tyler and Vanessa too? I paused. Did you talk to your brother recently? Not since last week. Why? No reason. Yeah, invite them if you want. Is something wrong? Everything's fine. Dad. Emily had always been able to read me. Even as a kid, she could tell when I was upset about something just by looking at my face. Diane said she got that from her grandmother. Your brother uninvited us from Christmas, I said. Silence on the other end. Then, what? He said they're doing immediate family only this year. Vanessa's parents are coming instead. Emily didn't swear much either. Must run in the family. Wish I was, I said. That little... I'm calling him right now. Don't. What do you mean, don't? Dad, don't. I'm handling it. Handling it how? I'm still figuring that out. She made a sound like she was about to argue, then stopped herself. Does Mom know? She knows. How is she? About how you'd expect. Jesus. Okay. Listen, they're not invited to Thanksgiving. I don't care if Mom already said yes, they're not coming. Emily. No, Dad. That's bullshit and you know it. They can spend Thanksgiving with Vanessa's precious parents too. I didn't argue. Truth was, I didn't want Tyler at Thanksgiving anyway. Not right now. Maybe not ever. Your call, I said. It's your house. Damn right it is. She took a breath. Are you okay? I'm fine. You don't sound fine. I'm fine. She didn't believe me. I could hear it in the silence, but she let it go. Okay, well, call me if you need anything, and tell Mom I love her. Will do. I hung up and sat there staring at my computer screen. My email had loaded. 112 unread messages, most of them junk, a few from customers, one from my supplier about a delayed shipment, nothing from Tyler. I spent the next hour doing paperwork, sent invoices, paid bills, ordered materials, the normal routine. By 8:30 I was done, and the anger that had been sitting quiet in my chest all morning was starting to feel like something alive. I grabbed my keys and drove to Riverside. The job was a whole house rewire. Old place, built in the 50s, still had knob and tube wiring in half the walls. The owners were a young couple who'd bought it as a fixer-upper. They had more ambition than money, which meant they were doing a lot of the work themselves. That made my job harder, but they were nice people. Always had coffee ready when we showed up. Marcus and the other guy, Kevin, were already there when I pulled up. They'd opened up walls in the living room and were pulling old wire. Morning, boss, Kevin said. He was younger than Marcus, 24, still learning but eager. Ran into some aluminum wiring in the bedroom. You want us to replace that too? Yeah, anything that's not copper comes out. Got it. I grabbed my tools and got to work. Physical labor was good for clearing your head. Stripping wire, fishing new cable, making connections. Simple. Logical. Every problem had a solution, not like family. We worked through lunch. The homeowner brought out sandwiches around noon, said his wife had made them. I ate mine sitting on the tailgate of my truck, watching Marcus and Kevin work. They were talking about football, some game that had been on last night. I hadn't watched football in weeks. Used to watch it with Tyler every Sunday during the season. He'd come over, we'd order pizza, sit in the living room and yell at the TV. That wouldn't be happening anymore. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. This is Dan. Mr. Holloway, this is Patricia from First National Bank. I'm calling about your co-signed loan. I straightened up. What about it? We've had a payment returned for insufficient funds. This is the second month in a row. I wanted to reach out before we proceed with any collection actions. Tyler's mortgage, the one I'd co-signed 3 years ago. How much is the payment? I asked. $1,800. And he's missed 2? Yes, sir. October and November. I looked at the house I was working on. The house these people were pouring their savings into. People who barely had enough money to pay me. But they were making it work because they actually gave a shit. When's the next payment due? I asked. December 1st. I'll take care of it. Sir, I should mention that if you make the payment, you'll be responsible for any future. I know how co-signing works. I'll take care of it. All right. Thank you, Mr. Holloway. I hung up and sat there staring at my phone. Tyler hadn't just uninvited me from Christmas. He'd stopped paying his mortgage. The mortgage I was legally responsible for if he defaulted. I called him. It rang 4 times, then went to voicemail. His voice, cheerful and casual. Hey, this is Tyler, leave a message. I hung up without saying anything. Called again. Voicemail again. This time I left a message. It's your father. Call me. I waited 5 minutes. He didn't call back. I sent a text. Need to talk. It's important. Delivered. Read. No response. I sat there feeling something cold settle in my gut. It wasn't anger anymore. Anger was hot. This was something else. Something calculating. Marcus came over. Boss, we're gonna need more cable. You want me to make a run? Yeah, get whatever you need. I got something to take care of. Everything okay? Fine. He looked at me, the same way Emily had sounded on the phone, like he didn't believe me but wasn't going to push it. I got in my truck and drove. Not home, not to Tyler's, just drove. I ended up at a diner on the east side of town, place called Rosie's. I'd been eating there since before Emily was born. Same owners, same menu, same coffee that tasted like motor oil but somehow worked. I sat at the counter and ordered coffee and pie, apple, warm. The waitress was new, didn't recognize her. She had tired eyes and a name tag that said Jenny. Rough day? She asked, setting down the coffee. Something like that. Well, the pie's good. That'll help. She walked away. I ate the pie slow, drank the coffee, thought about Tyler ignoring my calls, about the missed mortgage payments, about Vanessa standing in the window with her arms crossed, about the fact that I'd built him a goddamn toy chest while he was screwing me over. My phone buzzed. Text from Diane. Where are you? Rosie's. Come home. We need to talk. About what? Just come home. I paid the bill, left a big tip. Drove home. Diane was in the living room with her laptop open. She had that expression she got when she'd been researching something, like a detective who just found the key piece of evidence. Sit, she said. I sat. She turned the laptop around. On the screen was a Facebook post from Vanessa, dated 2 weeks ago. It was a photo of her and Tyler at some restaurant, all dressed up, holding wine glasses. The caption said, "Celebrating our new investment. Big things coming. Blessed Dow family, first Dow future secured." Keep scrolling, Diane said. I scrolled. More posts. Vanessa at some resort in Arizona. Vanessa and her parents by a pool. Tyler looking uncomfortable in every photo, like he'd rather be somewhere else. Now look at the comments, Diane said. I read them. Bunch of people saying congratulations. A few asking what the investment was. Vanessa's responses were vague. Can't say too much yet. Still working out the details. You'll see soon. Classic scheme language. There's more, Diane said. She took the laptop back, pulled up another tab. I called Emily. She said Tyler's been talking about this timeshare thing for 2 months. Said Vanessa's father has connections. Said it's a sure thing. Said they're putting in $50,000. $50,000. That's what Emily said. Where the hell would they get $50,000? She looked at me. What do you think? It hit me then. All of it. The loan Tyler had asked me for, the missed mortgage payments, The fact that they'd taken out every credit card they could get their hands on last year, the new cars they couldn't afford, the vacation to Mexico they'd just come back from. They were broke. Worse than broke. They were drowning. And Vanessa's father had convinced them to throw good money after bad into some timeshare scheme that was probably going to steal whatever equity they had left. Jesus Christ, I said. Yeah, Diane said. So now what? I looked at her. Now I make a call. I pulled out my phone and dialed the bank again. Got transferred 3 times before I reached someone who could help me. This is Dan Holloway. I called earlier about the co-signed loan. I need to know something. If my son defaults on this loan, what happens to the house? Well, sir, if the loan goes into foreclosure, how long does that take? Typically 3 to 6 months, depending on... And during that time, can they sell the house? Technically, yes, but if there's a lien... Can I buy the house? Pause. I'm sorry, what? Can I buy the house from them before the bank forecloses? Another pause. I'd need to check with our legal department, but potentially, yes. If all parties agree and the debt is satisfied. Good. Send me whatever paperwork I need to look at. Sir, are you sure you want to? Send me the paperwork. I hung up. Diane was staring at me. What are you doing? Giving them what they wanted. Dan, they wanted to cut me out? Fine, I'm out. But I'm taking the house with me. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. You can't just take their house. Watch me. Dan, that's too far. Is it? They stopped paying the mortgage. The bank's gonna foreclose anyway. I'm just speeding up the process. They have kids. I know, and those kids are about to learn what happens when their parents make stupid decisions. She stared at me. Then, slowly, she closed her laptop. You're serious? This is going to destroy your relationship with Tyler. What relationship? He uninvited me from Christmas. She didn't have an answer for that. We sat there in silence. Outside, a dog barked. A car drove past. Normal sounds, normal life, except nothing felt normal anymore. I need to think about this, she said finally. You do that. I'm going to the garage. I spent the next 2 hours out there, working on nothing, just moving things around, organizing tools, sweeping the floor, anything to keep my hands busy while my brain churned. The toy chest was still in the corner under the tarp. I pulled the tarp off, looked at it. The wood was perfect. The joints were tight. The name carved into the lid was clean and precise. I'd made it with love, and Tyler hadn't even bothered to call me back. I found a can of black paint in the storage cabinet, found a brush. Without thinking too hard about it, I started painting over the carved name, covered it completely. Then I painted the whole chest black, all of it. Made it look like something you'd find in a horror movie. By the time I was done, it was dark outside. My phone buzzed. Text from Tyler. Dad, sorry I missed your call. Everything okay? I stared at the screen. 24 hours after uninviting me from Christmas. 6 hours after ignoring my calls. 4 hours after the bank told me he was defaulting on his mortgage. And now he wanted to know if everything was okay. I typed back, fine, just wanted to chat, no big deal. Sent it. He responded immediately. Okay, good. Was worried. Talk later? Sure. That was it. Conversation over. He probably felt better now. Probably thought he'd done his duty as a son. Quick text. Everybody's happy. I looked at the black chest. Then I looked at my phone. Then I smiled. Not a nice smile. The kind of smile you get when you realize you've been playing chess and everyone else has been playing checkers. I went back inside. Diane was in the kitchen making dinner. Something with chicken. Smelled good. I thought about it, she said without turning around. And? If you're going to do this, do it right. Don't just take the house. Make sure they know why. I walked up behind her, put my hand on her shoulder. She turned around and looked at me. I married a good man, she said. Don't lose yourself in this. I won't. Promise me." "I promise." She kissed me, quick, then went back to cooking. I went upstairs and opened my laptop, started researching Arizona timeshare laws, started looking up Vanessa's father's business history, started making notes. By midnight, I had a plan. By morning, I'd have a war. Christmas Eve arrived like a funeral. I spent the morning at the shop, pretending to work. Marcus and Kevin had both taken the day off. The building was quiet, just me and the space heater and the sound of my own thoughts. Diane hadn't come home. She'd been at Emily's for 5 days. We'd exchanged a few texts, nothing substantial, just "I'm fine" and "talk later." Tyler hadn't called again. Neither had Emily. Radio silence from everyone. I should have felt victorious. I'd done exactly what I'd set out to do. Taken control, protected myself, made them all see that I wasn't someone to be tossed aside. Instead, I felt like I was sitting in an empty room, waiting for something that was never going to arrive. Around noon, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. "This is Dan. Mr. Holloway, this is Dennis Fletcher, Vanessa's father." I straightened up. "Dennis, what can I do for you?" "I think the question is what I can do for you. I understand there's been some tension between you and Tyler." "Tension, that's one word for it. Look, I'm a businessman. I understand how these things work. You're upset about the investment. I get it. But I think if we sat down and talked, I could help you see the value in what we're doing." "The vacation club." "Exactly. It's a solid opportunity. Tyler and Vanessa are just having some short-term cash flow issues. Once the investment matures—" "Dennis, let me stop you right there. I know exactly what you're running. I called you weeks ago, pretended to be interested, recorded the whole pitch." Silence on the other end. "It's a scam," I continued, "and you know it. You've been involved in 3 failed ventures in the last 10 years. One of them resulted in a lawsuit. You're not a businessman. You're a con artist." More silence. Then, "I don't appreciate being called a—" "I don't care what you appreciate. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to call Tyler. Tell him you're refunding whatever money he's already put in, all of it. Then you're going to disappear." "Or what?" "Or I send my recording to the Arizona Attorney General's office. I've already looked into it. What you're running violates about 6 different consumer protection laws. They'd love to hear from me." I could hear him breathing on the other end. Heavy. Angry. "You're making a mistake," he said finally. "No, Dennis, you made the mistake. You thought you could scam my son and I wouldn't notice. Now you're paying for it." "This isn't over." "Yeah, it is." I hung up. Sat there for a minute. Then I called Patterson. "Merry Christmas Eve," he said. "What do you need?" "I need you to file a complaint with the Arizona Attorney General. I'm sending you a recording of a phone call. Guy named Dennis Fletcher. He's running a vacation club scam." "Dan, it's Christmas Eve." "I know. File it Monday." He sighed. "All right. Send me the recording." I did. Then I sat back and stared at the ceiling, one piece down. That afternoon, I got a text from Tyler. "Dennis called. Said you threatened him." I typed back, "Not a threat. A promise. You're unbelievable. I'm protecting you." "Protecting me? You're destroying us." "I'm doing what you should have done, cutting out the cancer before it spreads." "The only cancer here is you." I didn't respond. What was the point? An hour later, another text. "Vanessa's parents are putting us up. We're moving out this week." "Good. I hope you're happy." "I'm not. Could have fooled me." I turned off my phone, sat there in the silence. At 4, I locked up the shop and drove home. The house was still empty, still cold, still exactly the way I'd left it. I turned on the Christmas lights outside, just because. Felt wrong not to. Then I went inside and made myself a drink, sat on the couch, looked at the tree Diane and I had put up 2 weeks ago, before everything went to hell. It was decorated with ornaments we'd collected over 40 years. Kids' handmade decorations from elementary school, glass bulbs from our first Christmas together, photos of family vacations, all of it meaningless now. My phone buzzed. Text from Emily. Mom wants to know if you're okay. Tell her I'm fine. She doesn't believe you. Tell her anyway. Dad, you need to fix this. It's already fixed. No, it's not. You've just broken everything. I stared at the message. Then I typed, Merry Christmas, sweetheart. She didn't respond. I finished my drink, made another one. Sat there watching the lights on the tree blink on and off. At 7, I heard a car in the driveway. The front door opened. Diane walked in. She looked tired, worn out. She set her purse on the counter and stood there looking at me. You're home, I said. It's Christmas Eve. I know. She walked over to the couch, sat down on the opposite end, far enough away that we weren't touching. Emily told me what you did, she said. With Dennis. Yeah. That was good. Protecting Tyler from that scam. He doesn't see it that way. He will. Eventually. We sat there in silence. The Christmas lights blinked. Outside, I could hear carolers somewhere down the street. I paid off the mortgage, I said. Gave them eviction notice. They're moving out this week. I know. Emily told me. And? And what? What do you think? She looked at me. I think you did what you thought you had to do. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have right now. More silence. Then she said, You know what today is? Christmas Eve. 40 years ago today, you proposed to me, remember? I did. We'd been at her parents' house. Everyone was there, her whole family. I'd been terrified. Pulled her outside, said I had something to show her in the car. Then I'd gotten down on one knee in the snow and asked her to marry me. She'd said yes. Best day of my life. I remember, I said. You were so nervous. Your hands were shaking. I thought you were going to say no. Why would I say no? I don't know. Seemed too good to be true. She smiled, small, sad. It was good for a long time. It's still good. Is it? I didn't answer. She stood up. I'm going to bed. You coming? In a minute. She walked upstairs. I heard the bedroom door close. I sat there for another hour. Finished my drink. Turned off the Christmas lights. Went to bed. Diane was already asleep. Or pretending to be. I lay there next to her, staring at the ceiling, listening to her breathe. Thought about Tyler, about Vanessa, about Dennis, about everything I'd done, about the fact that tomorrow was Christmas and I'd be spending it alone. Well, not alone. Diane was here, but it felt alone. I closed my eyes. Didn't sleep. Christmas morning came. Diane and I exchanged presents. Small stuff, a book for her, a new tool set for me. We didn't talk much, just went through the motions. Around 10, Emily called. Merry Christmas, Dad. Merry Christmas, sweetheart. You guys doing okay? We're fine. You don't sound fine. We're fine. Silence. Then, Tyler called me this morning. He and Vanessa are moving to Arizona. Gonna stay with her parents until they figure things out. Arizona. Of course. Good for them, I said. Dad, he's your son. I know. So do something. Fix this. There's nothing to fix. He made his choice. And you made yours. Yeah. So what now? Now we move on. Just like that? Just like that. She sighed. I love you, Dad, but you're an idiot. Love you too, kiddo. She hung up. I put the phone down. Diane was watching me from the kitchen. Tyler's moving to Arizona, I said. She nodded. I figured. You okay with that? Does it matter? Yeah, it matters. She walked over, sat next to me on the couch. I'm not okay with any of this, but I understand why you did it, and I guess that's enough. Is it? It has to be. We sat there together. Christmas music playing softly on the radio, the tree blinking, everything looking normal on the surface, But underneath, everything had changed, and there was no going back. January came cold and mean. Tyler and Vanessa moved out on the 8th. I didn't go over there, didn't watch, didn't supervise, just waited for Patterson to call and confirm they'd turned in the keys. "It's done," he said. "House is empty. They left it in decent shape, actually, no damage." "Good. So what now?" "Now I list it." "You're selling?" "Eventually. First I need to sit on it for a bit, let things cool down." "Dan, if you're hoping for a reconciliation, I'm not." "Then what?" "I don't know yet." He was quiet for a second. "You know, for what it's worth, I think you did the right thing. Protecting yourself. A lot of guys would have just let their kids drag them down." "Yeah, but nothing. Thanks, Patterson." I hung up. The house sat empty for 2 weeks. I went over there once, walked through the rooms. Everything was clean, walls freshly painted, carpets vacuumed. They'd even left the fridge running. In the smallest bedroom, the one that had been my grandson's room, there was a single toy on the floor. Little plastic dinosaur. Green. Missing one leg. I picked it up, put it in my pocket, left the house, and didn't go back. Diane and I settled into a new routine. She went to work. I went to work. We came home, made dinner, watched TV, went to bed. We didn't talk about Tyler, didn't talk about the house, didn't talk about anything that mattered. It was like living with a roommate. Emily called once a week, always the same conversation. "How are you?" "Fine." "How's Mom?" "Fine." "You guys talking?" "We talk." "About Tyler?" "No." "Dad, Emily, I love you, but I don't want to do this every week." "Do what?" "This, where you try to guilt me into apologizing." "I'm not trying to." "You are, and it's not going to work." She'd sigh. We'd talk about something else, then hang up. February, March, April. Time moved forward. Life moved forward. Everything kept going, except it didn't feel like moving forward. Felt like standing still while the world rushed past. Marcus noticed. He didn't say anything for months. Then one day in late April, we were working on a commercial job downtown. Big building, lots of wiring. We were in the basement, running conduit. "Boss," he said, "can I ask you something?" "Sure." "You okay?" I looked at him. "Why wouldn't I be?" "I don't know. You just seem different. Since Christmas." "I'm fine." "You keep saying that." "Because it's true." He went back to work. Didn't push. But I could tell he didn't believe me. That night I came home and Diane was packing a suitcase. "What's going on?" I asked. "I'm going to Emily's for the weekend, Sophie's birthday party." "I didn't know that was this weekend." "It is. I can come with you." "No, you can't. You have that job in Riverside." "I can reschedule." She stopped packing, looked at me. "Dan, I need some time away, okay?" "Away from what?" "From this. From us. From everything." "What does that mean?" "It means I'm tired. I'm tired of pretending everything's fine when it's not. I'm tired of living in this house that feels like a tomb. I'm tired of watching you punish yourself." "I'm not punishing myself." "Yes, you are. You got what you wanted. You protected yourself. You made your point. And now you're miserable. We're both miserable. So what do you want me to do?" "I don't know, but I can't keep doing this." She finished packing, grabbed her keys, walked to the door. "I'll be back Sunday," she said. Then she was gone. I stood there in the empty house, listening to the silence. Then I got in my truck and drove. No destination, just drove. Ended up at Rosie's. Same diner, same waitress with tired eyes. "Back again," Jenny said. "Coffee?" "Yeah." "Rough day?" "Something like that." She poured the coffee, set it down. "You look like you lost something." "Maybe I did." "Well, whatever it is, hope you find it." I drank the coffee, ate pie, sat there until closing. Then I drove home and lay in bed staring at the ceiling until morning. Sunday came. Diane came home. She didn't say much, just unpacked, made dinner, went to bed. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Same routine. Thursday, Patterson called. Got some news? He said. What? Tyler filed for bankruptcy. I sat up. What? Yeah. Chapter 7. Dennis's investment scheme went under. Tyler and Vanessa lost everything they'd put in. Plus, they've got credit card debt, medical bills, the whole 9 yards. Jesus. There's more. They're claiming you knew about their financial situation and took advantage of it, trying to challenge the foreclosure. That's bullshit. I know, but it's going to drag this out. Could take another 6 months before the courts clear everything. I don't have 6 months. You don't have a choice. I hung up. Sat there thinking. Tyler was broke. Really broke. And he was blaming me for it. Maybe he was right. Maybe I'd taken it too far. Maybe... No. He'd made his choices. I'd made mine. That's how it worked. Friday, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer. This is Dan. Dad, it's me. Tyler. I hadn't heard his voice in 5 months. What do you want? I said. I need to talk to you. So, talk. Not over the phone. Can we meet? Why? Because I'm asking. Please. Something in his voice. Not anger, not even bitterness, just tired. Fine, I said. Where? Rosie's, tomorrow, noon. He hung up. I sat there staring at my phone. Then I called Diane. Tyler wants to meet, I said. What did you tell him? I said yes. Silence. Then, be careful. I will. And Dan? Yeah? Listen to him. Really listen. Not just wait for your turn to talk. I always listen. No, you don't. You hear words, but you don't listen. She hung up. I sat there thinking about that. Saturday arrived. I got to Rosie's early, sat at a booth in the back, ordered coffee, waited. Tyler showed up at 12:05. He looked different, thinner, older. He was wearing jeans and a t-shirt, nothing fancy. He slid into the booth across from me. Thanks for coming, he said. You said you wanted to talk. Yeah. He looked down at the table. I've been thinking a lot. About everything. About what happened. And I was wrong. About a lot of things. About the investment. About Dennis. About choosing Vanessa's family over you and Mom. I didn't say anything. I was stupid, he continued. I let Vanessa control everything. Her dad, her opinions, her priorities. I stopped thinking for myself. Yeah. But Dad, what you did, taking the house, that was me protecting myself. It was revenge. It was both. He looked up at me. I lost everything. My house, my savings, my credit, everything. You lost it before I got involved. I just made sure I didn't lose everything too. So this is just business to you? Your own son is just business? My own son stopped talking to me. My own son chose his wife's family over his parents. My own son stopped paying his mortgage and expected me to cover it. What was I supposed to do? Just let you drag me down? You could have helped me. I tried. You wouldn't listen. He shook his head. This isn't working. I don't know what I thought. That maybe we could fix this. Fix what? You want me to apologize for protecting myself? I want you to admit that you went too far. That taking the house wasn't about protection. It was about punishing me. I looked at him. Really looked at him. He was right. Part of me had wanted to punish him. Part of me had wanted him to hurt the way I'd hurt when he'd uninvited me from Christmas. But I couldn't say that. Couldn't admit it. I did what I had to do, I said finally. Then I guess we're done here. He stood up, started to walk away, then stopped, turned around. You know what the worst part is? He said. I still love you. Even after everything, I still love you. And I think that's what makes this hurt so much. He left. I sat there alone, coffee getting cold, booth empty across from me. Jenny came over. You okay, hun? No. Want some pie? No. She patted my shoulder. Well, you let me know if you change your mind. I sat there for another hour. Then I went home. Diane was in the living room. She looked up when I came in. How'd it go? Bad. What happened? I told her. Everything. What Tyler said, what I said, how it ended. She listened, didn't interrupt. When I was done, she said, "Do you still think you did the right thing?" I don't know. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. She looked at me for a long time. Then she said very quietly, "I can't do this anymore." Can't do what? This. Us, living like this. Diane. I'm tired, Dan. I'm tired of watching you destroy yourself. I'm tired of being caught in the middle. I'm tired of pretending we're okay when we're not. So what are you saying? I'm saying I think we need some time apart. The words hung in the air between us. You're leaving me? I'm not leaving you. I need space, time to think. About what? About whether I can keep being married to someone who would do what you did. I protected us. You protected yourself. There's a difference. She stood up. I'm going to stay with Emily for a while. I don't know how long, but I need to figure some things out. Diane, please. I'm sorry, Dan. I really am, but I can't watch you become someone I don't recognize. She went upstairs, came back down with a suitcase, the same one she'd packed in April. Call me if you need anything, she said. Then she left. I stood there in the empty house, alone, completely alone, for the first time in 40 years. 3 weeks passed. Diane didn't come home. She called a few times, short conversations. How are you? Fine. How's work? Busy. That was it. Emily called more often. She was worried about me, about Diane, about Tyler. Dad, you need to fix this, she said for the 100th time. How? I don't know. Apologize. Make amends. Something. Tyler won't even talk to me. Have you tried? I hadn't. Didn't see the point. Dad, you're losing everything. Don't you see that? I see it. Then do something about it. Like what? I don't know, but sitting there feeling sorry for yourself isn't helping. She was right. I knew she was right. But I didn't know what to do. So I did nothing. Work kept me busy. Marcus and Kevin carried most of the load. I just showed up. Went through the motions. Came home to an empty house. It was like living in a cave. Mid-June, Patterson called. Court date's set, he said. August 15th. Judge is going to rule on Tyler's bankruptcy claim and the foreclosure. Okay. Dan, I gotta be honest. This doesn't look good. What do you mean? Tyler's lawyer is painting you as a predatory lender. Says you took advantage of his financial situation. Judge might rule in his favor. Void the sale. That's bullshit. Maybe, but it's compelling bullshit. And Tyler's got sympathy on his side. You're the big bad father who kicked his son out of his house. I didn't kick him out. He stopped paying his mortgage. I know, but that's not how it's playing in court. I hung up, sat there staring at the wall. If the judge ruled against me, I'd lose the house. All that money I'd spent, gone. And Tyler would get to keep playing the victim. Something twisted in my gut. Not anger this time. Something else. Regret. July arrived. Still no Diane. Still no Tyler. I spent the 4th of July alone. Sat in the backyard watching fireworks in the distance. Thought about all the years I'd spent with my family. Tyler running around with sparklers. Emily laughing. Diane smiling. All of it gone. Mid-July, I got a call from an unknown number. Arizona area code. Hello? Mr. Holloway, this is Vanessa. I straightened up. Vanessa, I need to talk to you. About Tyler. What about him? He's not doing well. Financially, emotionally, all of it. We're barely scraping by. My parents are helping, but it's not enough. And you're calling me why? Because he won't. Because he's too proud. Because I'm desperate. I didn't say anything. Look, she said. I know you hate me. I know you think I'm the reason all this happened. And maybe you're right. Maybe I pushed too hard. Maybe I listened to my father when I shouldn't have. But Mr. Holloway, Dan, we're drowning, and Tyler's too stubborn to ask for help. So you're asking? Yes, I'm asking. Not for me, for him, for our kids. I thought about Tyler sitting across from me at Rosie's, the way he'd looked, thin, tired, beaten down. What do you want me to do? I asked. I don't know. Drop the lawsuit maybe, let him keep the house, something, anything. I can't drop the lawsuit. Tyler filed it, and I can't give him the house. I already paid off the mortgage. Then give us a loan, help us get back on our feet. Why would I do that? Because he's your son. The line went quiet. I'll think about it, I said finally. Thank you. She hung up. I sat there holding the phone, thinking. That night I called Diane. Hey, she said, surprised. We hadn't talked in a week. Hey, how are you? I'm okay. You? Not great. Can I ask you something? Sure. Do you think I went too far? With Tyler? Silence. Then, honestly? Honestly. Yes. I think you let your anger control you. I think you prioritized revenge over family. And I think you're paying the price for it now. Yeah. But, she said, I also think Tyler needed to learn a lesson. He was being irresponsible, reckless, and you tried to warn him. So what should I have done? I don't know, Dan, but there had to be a middle ground, somewhere between letting him drag you down and destroying him completely. I didn't mean to destroy him. I know, but that's what happened. We sat there in silence. I miss you, I said. I miss you too. Come home. I can't, not yet. Why not? Because I need to know that you're going to fix this, with Tyler, with yourself, with all of it. How? Figure it out. She hung up. I sat there in the dark, thinking about what she'd said, thinking about Tyler, about Vanessa, about the house, about everything. Then I made a decision. Next morning I called Patterson. I want to drop the case, I said. What? You heard me. I'm dropping the foreclosure case, letting Tyler have the house back. Dan, you can't just, you paid off the mortgage. You've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. I know. So you're just going to eat that loss? Yeah. That's insane. Maybe. But I'm doing it. All right, I'll file the paperwork. But Dan, you need to understand, Tyler's bankruptcy case is still active. Even if you drop the foreclosure, the court might rule against you anyway. I don't care. You should care. You could lose everything. I already lost everything. I hung up. Then I called Tyler. He didn't answer. I left a voicemail. Tyler, it's Dad. I'm dropping the foreclosure case. The house is yours. Call me when you get this. He didn't call back. 3 days passed. Nothing. Then, on the 4th day, my phone rang. Tyler. I answered. Hello? Dad? Hey. Silence. Then, why? Because Vanessa called me, said you guys were struggling, and I thought about it. Realized I'd gone too far. You're really dropping the case? Yeah. Patterson's filing the paperwork today. More silence. What about the money? The mortgage you paid off? Consider it a gift. Dad, that's almost $400,000. I know. You can't just... I can. And I am. He was quiet for a long time. Then, very softly, thank you. Yeah. Does this mean, are we... I don't know, Tyler, I hope so, but that's up to you. What about Christmas? I laughed. Couldn't help it. Are we invited? Yeah, you and Mom both, if you want to come. I'll talk to your mother. See what she says. Okay. We hung up. I sat there feeling something I hadn't felt in months. Not quite relief. Not quite happiness. But something close. I called Diane. Tyler invited us to Christmas, I said. What? I dropped the case, gave him the house back. He called, said we're invited to Christmas. Silence. Then, Dan, what did you do? I told her. Everything. The call from Vanessa, The decision, the conversation with Tyler. You gave him $400,000? She said. Yeah. That's our entire retirement. I know. We're going to have to work until we're 80. Probably. And you're okay with that? Not really. But I'm more okay with that than I am with losing my family. She didn't say anything for a long time. Then, I'm coming home. Yeah? Yeah. Give me a few days to wrap things up here. But I'm coming home. Okay? Dan? Yeah? I'm proud of you. She hung up. I sat there in the empty house that wouldn't be empty much longer. Felt something loosen in my chest. For the first time in months, I could breathe. August 15th arrived. Court date. Patterson had filed the paperwork dropping my case, but Tyler's bankruptcy claim was still active. The judge needed to rule on it. I showed up at the courthouse at 9. Patterson was already there. So was Tyler, and Vanessa, and their lawyer, Stevens. Tyler saw me, nodded. I nodded back. We sat on opposite sides of the courtroom, waited. Judge came in at 9:30, woman, mid-50s, looked tired and annoyed, probably had 100 cases to get through today. Case number 47B, she said, Tyler Holloway versus Daniel Holloway, bankruptcy claim related to foreclosure of residential property. Stevens stood up. Your Honor, we're requesting dismissal of all claims. Mr. Daniel Holloway has dropped his foreclosure case and returned the property to my client. The judge looked at her notes. Is this correct, Mr. Patterson? Patterson stood. Yes, Your Honor. My client has voluntarily dismissed all claims and transferred ownership back to Tyler Holloway. And the mortgage? Satisfied. Mr. Daniel Holloway paid off the loan in full. There is no outstanding debt. The judge looked at me. Mr. Holloway, do you understand that by transferring this property back to your son, you're forfeiting approximately $368,000? I stood up. Yes, Your Honor. And you're doing this voluntarily? Yes. She looked at Tyler. Mr. Holloway, do you accept this transfer? Tyler stood. Yes, Your Honor. All right. She signed something, handed it to the clerk. Case dismissed. Property is returned to Tyler Holloway. We're done here. That was it. 2 minutes. 8 months of hell resolved in 2 minutes. We filed out of the courtroom. Tyler and Vanessa stopped in the hallway. I stopped too. Patterson kept walking. Gave us space. So, Tyler said. So. Thanks. For the house. For everything. You're welcome. Vanessa was standing behind him. She looked nervous, like she wasn't sure if she should say something or stay quiet. I'm sorry, she said suddenly, for all of it, for pushing the Christmas thing, for listening to my father, for everything. I looked at her, really looked at her. She seemed smaller than I remembered, less intimidating. Just a woman who'd made some bad choices and was trying to fix them. It's okay, I said. It's not, but thank you for saying that. Tyler extended his hand. I shook it. Christmas, he said. You guys are coming, right? If Diane agrees. She will. Emily already talked to her. I smiled. Of course she did. We stood there for another minute. Awkward. Not sure what else to say. Then Tyler said, we should get coffee sometime. Just you and me. Talk. I'd like that. Good. I'll call you. Okay. They left. I watched them walk down the courthouse steps. Tyler put his arm around Vanessa. They looked like a couple who'd been through hell and somehow survived. I went home. Diane was there. She'd moved back in 3 days ago. The house felt different now. Less like a tomb. More like a home. How'd it go? She asked. Done. Tyler got the house. How do you feel? Broke. She laughed. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to work a few more years. Sorry about that. Don't be. You did the right thing. Finally. That night, Emily called. Heard the news, she said. Tyler told me. I'm proud of you, Dad. Thanks, kiddo. So, Christmas, you guys coming? Diane and I are going to Tyler's. Good. We'll come too. Make it a whole family thing. That'll be nice. Yeah. Pause. Dad? Yeah? I love you. And I know this was hard, but you did good. Thanks, Emily. We hung up. I sat there thinking about Christmas, about family, about everything that had happened over the last year. It had been hell. No other way to describe it. I'd lost hundreds of thousands of dollars, almost lost my wife, almost lost my son, almost lost everything. But somehow, we'd made it through. Somehow, we were going to be okay. September passed. October, November. Tyler called once a week. We'd talk. Nothing deep, just normal stuff. Work, weather, the kids. Slowly rebuilding what we'd lost. He came over once in early November, helped me with some work around the house. We didn't talk about the foreclosure, didn't talk about Christmas last year, just worked, side by side, like we used to. When he left, he said, "Thanks, Dad." For what? For not giving up on me. I didn't know what to say to that. I never gave up on you, I said finally. I just got really pissed off. He laughed. Yeah, you did. You deserved it. I know. He drove away. I stood there in the driveway watching his car disappear down the street. Diane came outside, stood next to me. You two okay? She asked. Getting there. Good. She took my hand. We stood there together as the sun set. December arrived. Cold, snow on the ground, Christmas decorations everywhere. I put up lights on the house. Diane put up the tree. We decorated it together. Same ornaments, same photos, same memories. But this time, it felt different. Felt like a beginning instead of an ending. Christmas Eve, we drove to Tyler's house. Emily and Brett and Sophie came too, the whole family, together. Tyler answered the door, smiled. Big smile. Genuine. Come in, he said. Vanessa made lasagna. We went inside. The house was warm, smelled like food and pine, Christmas music playing, kids running around. It was exactly what Christmas should be. We ate, we talked, we laughed. At one point, Tyler stood up and tapped his glass. I want to say something, he said. To all of you. This year was hard, really hard. I made some stupid decisions, hurt people I love, nearly destroyed my family. Vanessa was standing next to him. She put her hand on his shoulder. But we made it through, he continued, because family doesn't give up on family, even when they probably should. He looked at me. Dad, I know things got ugly. I know we both said things we regret. But I want you to know. I'm sorry. For all of it. And I'm grateful. For everything you did. For the house. For giving me another chance. I nodded. Couldn't speak, throat too tight. Diane squeezed my hand. So, Tyler raised his glass. To family. To second chances. To making it through hell and coming out the other side. To family, we all echoed. We clinked glasses, drank, sat back down. The rest of the night was perfect, just perfect. No drama, no tension, just family being family. Later, after the kids were in bed, Tyler and I sat on the back porch. Cold night, clear sky, stars everywhere. You know, he said, I never thanked you for stopping me from throwing money into that timeshare thing. You did thank me. Not enough. Dennis would have taken everything. You saved me from that. Yeah, well, that's what fathers do. Not all of them. We sat there in silence, comfortable silence. The kind you can only have with people who've been through hell together. Dad, Tyler said. Yeah? I'm glad you didn't give up on me, even when I gave you every reason to. I told you, I never gave up on you. Yeah, you just got really pissed off. Yeah, I did. He smiled. Well, thanks for getting unpissed off. You're welcome. We sat there a while longer, then went back inside. Diane and Vanessa were cleaning up the kitchen. Emily was reading to Sophie. Brett was on his phone. Normal. All of it so beautifully normal. We stayed until almost midnight, then drove home. Diane fell asleep in the passenger seat. I kept the radio off. Just drove through the quiet streets, looking at Christmas lights, thinking about how close I'd come to losing everything. How close I'd come to being the villain of my own story. But I'd pulled back, just in time. And now, somehow, everything was okay. Better than okay. We were going to be fine. When we got home, I carried Diane inside. She woke up enough to walk upstairs. We got ready for bed, lay down in the dark. "Merry Christmas," she whispered. "Merry Christmas." "That was nice. Tonight." "Yeah, it was." "You did good, Dan. I know it cost you. But you did good. We did good. Together." She kissed me. Soft. Then rolled over and fell asleep. I lay there staring at the ceiling, thinking about the last year, about everything that had happened, about Tyler, about Vanessa, about Dennis, about the house, about all of it, about the fact that I'd spent $400,000 to teach my son a lesson, then spent $400,000 more to give him a second chance, about the fact that I'd probably have to work until I was 80 to make up for it, about the fact that I didn't care, not really, because family was worth it, even when they pissed you off, even when they made stupid decisions, even when they hurt you. Family was worth it. I closed my eyes, slept better than I had in months,